Right, welcome back to another episode of Ear Candy with myself, Danny, and today we've got in the building Black Dove. What's happening, boys? You all good?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks for having us.
All good, all good. It's nice to get you in here after chatting a wee bit on Instagram.
Yep.
Although initially I messed up big time because I think it was in February we were talking.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago.
And usually what I do when I sort of come to an agreement with a band or an artist to come on, I go straight to my notes, just to put my notes with a date and time and all that. On this occasion, I never done that. I must have responded to you, sorted it, and then got, fucking something's happened. I've not put it in my notes. Then I've planned for today's schedule for the artists and that coming in, and then it was only a few days ago you reach out and say, still cool
Still
for
good.
Saturday, 2:00. I'm like, oh shit, I completely forgot. And then at first I was like, oh, are they on the wind up actually? So I had to scroll back. I was like, oh no, fuck, that's on me that. But no, it's good to actually finally get you in here.
No,
thanks for
got
having
over
us.
the initial fuck up. So no, it's good to have
that's
you
all
in.
good.
So if you just want to introduce yourselves and what you do in the band.
Yeah,
Start us
so I'm Josh Cunningham. I'm the lead singer, guitarist in the band.
And I'm Hamish. I play drums in a band.
Class. And there is 5 of yous. To get that clear, what's everyone else doing today? What are they all doing?
So they're working pretty much. So there's Connell Harrington. He's the lead guitarist.
Right.
He's a good looking one.
Mm-hmm.
And Ross McManus, again, he's a bass player. He's working.
Right.
And then Sean Nellis, our kind of newest member, keyboard player.
Mm-hmm.
He's I don't know what he's doing.
No.
He's just
Well, he was more
Too
than
busy for
welcome to
us.
come.
it's
He
always busy. So
He was more than welcome to come. So
Yeah.
when did you get your start with singing in that?
Just when always grown up, just kind of trying to get a band together
Right.
with your kind of pals,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody just wants to kind
Mm-hmm.
of do it. So I ended up naturally starting to just sing. I kind of wrote the songs and stuff from an early age. I always kind of wrote songs, so I
Right.
naturally would just end up singing anyway.
What age would you think you were when you first started doing all that?
At 9, 10.
That
so
young?
Yeah. So
Holy
started
shit.
guitar when I was 8, and then kind of had a couple of pals on the street learning drums or whatever. Started a wee kind of band,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up just singing. My uncle's a singer, my dad's a guitarist, so it was
Right.
always
They in bands as well?
Yeah. So they were in a band together.
What band were they in?
So my dad is in 2 bands. He was in a band called Hush. It was a cover band and kind of wedding band as well.
Right.
And then he joined with my uncle, who again just cover band. So I think they were called Voodoo Ray.
Right.
And
Voodoo
again
Ray.
just kind of cover.
Voodoo Ray. That's a tune by a
Yeah,
guy
it's
called
tune-
Gerald.
Yeah, it's
Aye.
a song.
That's a fucking great
Yeah.
tune as well.
Yeah.
That's an old fucking, what's that, 89 or something? Dance classic,
Yeah,
Manchester
I think
classic.
so. I remember somebody saying when they got the names, that song is
Uh-huh.
it? But just coming from a musical kind of family, it was brought up around that. I just
Mhm.
naturally ended up sort of
I think
singing.
the thing is
It was
as well,
no good at the start. I mean,
like,
it was
your like you said there about your dad being in a wedding band.
Yeah.
They're some of the tightest bands that you
Yeah.
can get out there because people expect you to be
Yeah.
the best of the best, especially on a big
Aye.
occasion like a
Yeah.
a wedding, eh?
Paying
And
over
they-
the odds for them as well.
Yeah, and they
innit?
make some fucking good dough as well,
Aye.
eh?
yeah, that's where the money seems to be at.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I always remember, like you're saying, just dead tight. I remember going to watch like their sound checks and stuff as a
Yep.
wee guy, and just how sort of serious it was. Even just rehearsals and whatnot and parts and whatever, and even talking about it the next day and whatever on the phone.
Thing is as well with wedding bands, you need to have like a whole back catalogue of tunes. It
Yeah.
can't just be one genre of
Aye.
music or one band, and you need to know all the hits, all
Yeah.
the classics.
And keeping up with what's coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
as well,
Yes. I can imagine that's probably one of the sort of tougher bands to be in would be a wedding band, but
Yeah.
be great. You get to hang back at the parties and that as well.
Well, that's the thing.
you
He did
spend
say
the whole day there.
exactly. You're working
Uh-huh.
when you're going away the weekends and playing
Some
these
amount of
venues
shagging
stuff,
going
so-
on behind the scenes as well, I bet. So, now what about yourself with the drums? When did you start on the drums?
I think I was about 13.
Right.
I thought it was earlier than that.
No, it was like first year of high school. I actually wanted to play piano.
Right.
My dad plays piano, and a few of my pals learned at the time. And my mum had contacted this piano teacher, and he was like, I don't have any availability at the moment. So another boy in my class played the drums, and I was like, all right, ask the drum teacher if they've got any space then.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, and that was how I fell into it,
Right.
really. There was no one else I knew played
did-
drums or anything
So
like
you
that.
did, obviously, if it wasn't something you were planning on doing, I take it you never had like any idols or anyone you looked up to, like drumming wise? You might do now,
Not
but...
not early on, no.
Right.
Not at all. Now, yeah, like John Beavis from Idols,
Right.
Matt Hilders from Arctic Monkeys, George, can't remember his surname, George Daniels from 1975. I think he's a mint drummer.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, early on, not really.
Now, what about keyboardists? Did you have like idols when it comes to the keyboard, or just like the sounds and what you
No,
can
my
make from
dad
it?
is a massive Elton John fan.
Right. Okay. Right.
So that was played in the house constantly. I and a lot of my pals were playing piano and stuff, and I just thought it was a good instrument to learn. But
Was your
ended up
old
on the
man? Was
drums.
he in a band of that, or not
no,
doing anything like that? No.
never really been in a band. It's always
we were just talking about
I
that.
was talking about it on the way up. It's always been dead strange because my dad's always been really musical.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in choirs and stuff like that when he was younger, I think. But as for like actual bands of that, no, not really.
So what my missus says to me a lot. She's like, "I'm surprised you've never been in a band with how much you love like
Music.
and that."
Yeah.
And I'm
Aye.
like, I was like, I can't fucking play anything. Like, it'd be great if I could play. Like, I'll fuck about on a keyboard when I'm messing about on FL
Right,
Studio or something
yeah.
like that. But
Aye.
no, when it comes to like writing music and that, like, nah, it's just I just can't do it. I can play bass, but like if you were to say, give me A minor or whatever the fuck it is on a bass, I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I
Aye.
can only read tab. Give me it in tab, and I'll be able to do it for you. But nah, just unfortunately, I've never had the ability to do that. Although I wish, and I would love to be in a band, especially it's like starting this. Like it's
Yeah.
getting like younger
Aye.
bands in, up and coming bands and that, and the enthusiasm you see oozing out of them. You're just kind of like, God, I wish that was me right now. And they talk about their gigs and the partying and that. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be absolutely insane, but it's not meant to be.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
I
meant
can't
to be.
imagine starting maybe older because I started so young.
Yeah.
It must be. I
That's the
probably
thing.
wouldn't have the patience now. You know
That's
what
the
I
thing,
mean?
and I say that to a lot of folk when they come in. They're like, "Oh, you're never too young for, or you're never too old for it," and that. And I'm like, "No, you are." Because I think like once you get to the stage where you've got like a mortgage and you've got a bird and
Yeah.
there's other things you need to be taken care of, and you work full time, doesn't leave much time for you to be
Yeah.
able to be like patch all of that when you've got commitments and
Yeah.
Aye.
because it's tough for bands, like especially starting out, like you're probably losing more money than you're actually earning.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, when you
absolutely.
first start out, and I'm just unfortunately
We're
not
still
in the
losing
position.
money that we're
Aye.
earning.
You know?
Like another 7 years.
It's brutal, but yeah, you never know. Maybe one day when I retire, I might fucking
You go
start a
with some
band.
time
Eh?
to-
Eh, you never know. But
Back
I
off.
meant to ask yourself actually, what was your sort of idols like singing wise? Did you have anyone you looked up to?
Yeah, again, just kind of growing up with my dad being a musician and my uncle and stuff, I would just kind of get music would always be on, so it would always be like Oasis,
Mm-hmm.
bands like Jet from
Right, yep.
Australia, like that kind of stuff, Kasabi and all that.
Mhm.
But in terms of singers, just any singer that had like a raspy vocal, I just loved.
And you like that?
So like Liam Gallagher, Kurt Cobain,
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Jones,
Right.
all that sort of stuff.
Well, I know we were just talking about them off their air there, but you might like Bad Nerves because he's got
Right,
quite a
yeah.
a raspy voice. So I'll recommend them to you.
Yeah, no,
Done my bit for the
definitely.
recommendations
Yeah,
today.
no, I'll look them up. And
Aye.
give them a listen.
So, how did you get started as like a band then? How did it all come together?
So before we were in this band, there was sort of two bands going on. We were all in the same school, and myself and Connell.
Yeah,
had-
because Gurik, you are
yeah,
from me.
yeah. So
He's
we were
got
all in the same
Quite a
school.
good music scene.
Yep. We were in the same school, and we'd had the jam with kind of mix of two bands, as I said.
Mhm.
One was a cover band, and one me and Connell was in was our own music. And then we kind of wanted to come away from doing the covers, which he was in, and we wanted to do our own stuff. And just eventually, we all decided to leave.
What songs were you covering?
Just sort of Oasis
Aye,
songs, The
Kasabian,
Verve,
Jet,
Kasabian,
Black Keys, Killers,
Mhm.
all that sort
Beatles.
of stuff.
Beatles,
Arctic Monkeys.
Ah,
Just a
good.
lot of kind of indie music
Ah,
sort
yeah,
of stuff.
yeah,
So
I
we
get
kind of,
it.
cause I was my dad. That's the kind of music my dad and stuff was playing it in the pubs and stuff.
Yep.
So we just kind of nicked their set and
Aye, pretty
copied
much.
that. Pretty much nicked their set.
Mhm.
But then eventually we wanted to do our own sort of stuff. So that was when we were about 16,
Right.
and we evolved into Black Dove.
Mhm.
The four of us, 5 now, but the 4 of us at the time.
Right.
To do our own stuff.
What
We
year
just
was
kept
that
up
in?
From there, 2016.
2016. And you taken like a break as well, hadn't you?
Before then or now?
No, now did you not take a
so
break or something?
Yeah, so 2016, and then right through obviously COVID. After COVID, we went to London in 2021. So things were kind of
Aye, that
we
was
were
like
busy.
sort of after
Yeah,
when
that
you were
was
actually allowed to leave your
Yeah,
house.
so we kind of
Right.
got back to kind of doing a bit of recording again. Went down to London, do a live session, and then kind of feels like after that we never really kicked on and done
Right.
anything. We didn't have any new sort of studio sessions booked or anything like that, and then it just kind of time went on.
Aye, life just sort of got in the way.
Aye,
Like,
he
I'd
get-
just graduated from uni,
Yeah,
Right.
got
got a big boy
house.
job.
Mm-hmm.
Josh then had a baby,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I
So-
guess everything happens for a reason, eh? It's
Yeah,
spanner
exactly.
in the
But
works.
to be
Probably
fair,
good.
we've got all that out of the way now, so that's now we're kind of more settled.
What made you get back together then? Like, did you just fucking? Obviously, it's all great that everyone you've had a kid and you've graduated from university. Like, they're all great things, and it was obviously it happened at
Yeah.
the best moment as well, because I guess you got to do your own thing. Did any other guys do anything like that?
So that's the thing. So me and Ross mainly sort of write the songs, or he'll start them, I'll start them, and then we'll both go to each
Mhm.
other and try and kind of work on them, sort of thing.
Right.
So throughout the time where we weren't really doing anything in terms of like maybe social media, weren't being active or gigs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
we've been writing the whole time. So for the
Alright.
last like 3 years or whatever, we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. We've got stuff there. So we didn't really stop in that sense. We had a couple of rehearsals, but not sort of maybe as regular as
Right.
and maybe we wanted. And then it was at a stage where I think Connell was sort of like, I'm just going to look for a new band.
Mhm.
I want to be rehearsing, I want to be playing and all that.
Yeah.
And then I think we just kind of I can't remember if we got together or whatever. I remember we played the Galoshians Festival. And I
Aye.
remember being we done sound check and we had a couple of hours to kill. Me and Connell just went to the Weatherspoons across the street and just had a chat about everything. And it was just sort of like, where's your heads at? And are we going to go for it? Or are we
Mhm.
not? Are we just going to leave it? Let's not
Yep.
half-arse it. Like,
Yep.
if we're going to go for it, we'll just get back, we'll rehearse, we'll write the songs, we'll record them, put them out, and just enjoy
Yeah.
being together, being in a band again, whatever.
Mhm.
So we just decided that as all 4 of us, yeah, we'd go for that. And then had another couple of rehearsals. We'd started jamming some new songs and freshened it up a wee bit and started to kind of get the buzz about it again. That was
Mhm.
the main thing. I think we kind of burnt ourselves out after a while.
Were you doing like a lot of touring in that before the initial
Not necessarily,
gap
not
and
necessarily
break?
touring. We have done a couple of mini tours as such, but we've done a lot of gigs. A lot of
Oh,
gigs
that's
in
what I meant,
Glasgow.
sorry,
Yeah,
the
well, yeah,
gigs, yeah.
but we've done a lot of gigs, and as I said, we kind of burnt ourselves out, and then we just kind of, as I said, lost a bit of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
So now we'd recorded actually in 2022. 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And
Was this all behind the scenes? Like, were you not
yeah, we're still doing sort of
telling
stuff.
telling anyone about it?
Probably people close to us, obviously,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
But if people were to ask, it was like, if you were to look at us in terms of it was like we have not been active in like 2 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But we recorded a couple of new songs or whatever. and we've only just put it out 2-3 weeks ago.
Is that Why Don't You Come
Why
Over?
Don't You
Is
Come
that?
Over?
I
So
like
that
that
was-
tune, by the way. I listened to
Thanks.
that. I
Yeah,
do like
thanks.
that. I do like that.
So the kind of irony about that one was Ross had kind of texted me one day. He was like, "What you doing? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Come up and we'll get together. We'll try and write." I hadn't really done it in a while. And I think I was there for an hour and a half, and the
Mhm.
whole song was done.
All right.
It just started and finished there,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, "Wow!" And the whole song was about sort of how we haven't actually done anything. We've just been fanning about for the last
Yeah.
2 years, and then we done it, and we're like, "We can actually, do you know what I mean? We should try and get back and do something." And then we recorded it, and then we never done it for another 2 years. So
Yeah.
never put it out. But I don't know what, I can't even remember. But as Hamish says, just kind of life got in the way, whatever. So eventually got around to doing it, and it's out now. So
So that had actually been recorded like 2
that was
years
2
ago.
years ago.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was recorded 2 years ago.
What was it doing? Just sitting there.
We got so I think it was recorded in, say, September 2022. I think by the time we got the mixes back and the master back, it was maybe like December, January. So it was a couple of months anyway.
Right.
And then when we got it back, again, I can't really remember what happened, but it just kind of went in the background,
Mm-hmm.
which is unlike us, to be honest, because usually it's like, right, let's get the song, get it recorded. As soon as we recorded it, it's like, right, let's get a plan. When's it going out? What's the artwork going to be?
Yeah.
Can't really remember what happened, but whatever happened,
That's what I
happened.
would have thought if I was in a band. Like I would have been fucking buzzing as soon
Yeah.
as it's done. Let's fucking get this out.
That's
here.
the
Let's see
thing,
what the reaction is to it.
Yeah, exactly. And we'd listened to it so much, and we'd rehearsed it so much, and we'd listen to the actual recording. We almost sort of forgot that it wasn't out yet, so nobody actually knew it. So we
Mhm.
were sort of playing it as if it was an old song. I guess it was 2 years old now, so
Well,
I
it's
guess
old
it kind
to use, but new to
Aye.
exactly.
the
So now
listeners, eh?
now it's out, and people were sort of messaging Hamish on the day like, "Oh, like, I really like that new song," or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of, it's nice to kind of get that feedback. As I said, we'd kind of not bored ourselves of it, but we'd
Yeah.
kind of moved on. We've got a couple of other songs that we're now, as Hamish said earlier, going into record over the next couple of
Right.
weeks and stuff.
He's
so
excited for that.
yeah,
Aye, big time.
because it's been
Good.
so long.
Yeah.
And we're going to a new studio this time as well, just to kind of freshen things up. As I said,
Aye.
coming back, kind of new.
It's always the toughest part is the consistency.
Yeah.
Just keeping on top of it is.
Yeah.
I could just imagine it just.
It's
being
all that, and
frustrating,
then
man.
the social media side of it as well,
Yeah.
and trying to keep up to date with everything. And
What's the thing with like the gap or the little break that you's had? If you found out that the like social media is a lot different to what it was
yeah,
before.
Yeah, like
yeah, big time.
TikTok was a big thing that when we came back
Yeah,
we didn't really have before.
Yep.
I mean, we're not particularly active on it now, but that's something we're
yeah.
trying to push. Some videos on that seem to be going
Mhm.
mental.
Oh, so you
Just
got
get,
good
like-
traction on TikTok.
Yeah, well, all right. I suppose we'd kind of started it. We actually started it when we went to London. We're like, let's do a wee kind of mini vlog sort of thing of
Mhm.
us going down. And that was the first time that we'd done it. But I remember at the time starting it, it was like, we're making a TikTok, like we're putting TikTok videos up, really.
Uh-huh.
But now you've just got to do it. You've just
Yeah.
got to. So that's how, obviously, with the release of the new song and going to the studio that we're going to the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks and whatever, we just need to get.
I can
Get-
imagine
get
that
a lot of
it's,
clips.
it's all right putting like TikToks up, but as like being a consumer of it, man, oh, it's like one of the worst apps ever.
Oh, really?
I remember during lockdown, it was my missus. She downloaded it
Yeah.
and she was like showing me videos and that, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
God,
it's just
this
constant
is-
messages.
This is not for me. And I remember, I guess we done something pretty illegal at the time. Was me, my dad, and my brother family met up during fucking lockdown to have a drink in my dad's garden.
Mhm.
With the like speakers out and all that shit like that, and having a bevy, and that was like a roasting because that was a really hot summer.
Aye.
2020 was a great
Summer during lockdown was class.
Unbelievable.
was,
weather.
the weather was
Unbelievable.
unreal. We were in his garden, and my brother was like, "Oh, do you want to make a TikTok with me?" And I was like, "What is this TikTok?" I said, "My
Yeah.
missus goes on about all the fucking time. Like, oh, you want to do?" But I'll prop the phone up, and we just have to dance. I was
Yeah.
fucking
I know,
Nazi
I
as
know.
fuck. There's no way I'm doing that. And like even now, like I've got a TikTok. I don't post anything on it. I'll scroll through it, and I just go like that. I'm like pedo,
Yeah.
pedo. No,
Some
it's not.
weird
it's not.
characters.
Oh,
are there, man.
a load of them are weird. There was one guy. or sorry, there's two guys actually on TikTok in particular I like. One of them's called Will the Farter. I don't know if you
Right,
follow
no.
this guy. Oh, he's unreal. He was on Howard Stern like years ago back in the
Right.
day, and he can fart on command.
Right.
So what he does is he'll phone up like a Chinese takeaway and like put it's like putting an order in, but he's farting into the phone at the same time. And like he'll phone up like Domino's and he'll be like, "Yeah, can I get a 12-inch pepperoni and then put it down?" And they're like, "What was that?" And he would do it again. Like, it's just childish. And then there's another guy. I can't remember his name, but it's fucking bizarre. So like, do you know like a treadmill? He's got a treadmill in his house, and he has what do you call them? Like snooker balls,
Right.
and he puts them on the treadmill. And it's like a race
Right.
with them, and it's the last one on the track.
aye,
The treadmill wins,
aye.
but it's the guys commentating. I
Oh,
fucking
right,
love
okay.
the guys commentating, and he's like really invested in it. But when you look back, you're like, mate, it's just balls on a fucking
Yeah.
treadmill. Like it's no,
Aye,
it's no
not
big deal.
exciting.
But I like
Aye.
the guy who does it. But yeah, for the majority of TikTok, I'm just like nonce, and
You're
then
just
one.
swiping for hours, and you
Yeah.
just lose hours to it.
I think it was it just before lockdown or maybe at the start of it? I was like, I need to stop with the social media. So I got rid of Facebook. I don't use Facebook
Right.
anymore. Which the only downside to that is I kind of keep track of like gigs and that coming up.
Okay,
I've
yeah,
got to
yeah.
source it from somewhere else. And I used to be like the first person to know about everyone, and now I've got people telling me like, "Oh, so and so's playing," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I've never seen that." And whatnot, which is a bit of a ball ache. So I only really use Instagram now. That's really it. Like everything else is just kind of, I don't like touching anything else
Yeah.
really.
I know. I feel like we get a lot more interaction on Instagram and stuff with the posts that we do. I feel like on Facebook it's sort of
Aye.
fallen away a bit.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get as. I think we have more followers, like more likes on Facebook, but in terms of the posts that we're putting up and stuff, I'd say
Yeah.
TikTok's
I
definitely the
I
better
like
place to be posting it.
Oh yeah, TikTok for the traction that, but I like Instagram for bands. That's the
Yeah.
majority of folk I follow is bands, like close pals and then bands and that as well. I like following them because that's what kind of keeps you up to date. But how are you? Are you getting all on with the TikTok stuff now, or are you still struggling a
Yeah,
bit?
well, yeah, we'll need to. Obviously, as I said, we're recording in a few weeks, so we'll get like that sort of clips and from there sort of thing.
I suppose the good
Bit of
thing.
content.
I suppose the good thing about it now though is like at least independent artists have like another way of getting their music and doing their own
Yeah.
promotion. Whereas like
Yeah.
if this was back in the day, you'd be like dependent on your record label
Yeah.
doing all that stuff, which costs a fortune.
Aye.
At least now you've got these tools and abilities, and like you say with TikTok and that, you can reach a really wide audience.
Yeah.
It just takes like the right video. No one knows what the right video is until it fucking blows up,
Aye.
and it's the ones you always least expect it
Yeah.
to. They're the ones that just fucking shoot up.
Even stuff like this, like being able to come on a podcast, it's
Yeah.
great. Like back in the day, it would have been, TV's your only
Yeah.
source of exposure to people.
Yeah.
I think just having the internet's a great thing for
Oh, absolutely.
bands.
Absolutely. I always say anyone's sort of welcoming on here as long as you're doing music. Like anyone's welcome in here. Like I've had folk reach out to me and like, "Oh, I'd love to come on, but I'm skint," and I'm like, "What's being skint got to do with it?"
Aye.
"Oh, I thought we had to pay to come on." I'm like, "Do I look like I'm the sort of fucking guy that's going to be charging bands to come in here?" Like, no, you're more than welcome to come in. "Oh, I'll come in, blah, 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 blah." So, no, it's good. And it's the whole point of the actual podcast is to give bands the exposure and that. And thing is as well, with like our Instagram and that, it's lots of other bands from Scotland and
Yeah.
like England and that follow. So
Yeah.
the content that goes out there goes to the right people that you'd be looking for.
Yeah.
So obviously you want to be getting your band name out to other bands and obviously like new faces and potential
Yeah,
new
for sure.
listeners as well. So
Exactly.
I guess it's a win-win.
Yeah.
You get the exposure
Aye.
and I get to sit here having a few beers
Yeah.
chatting shit for a few hours. Like it's a win-win, right?
Aye.
So it's a win-win. So obviously going back to your band, 'cause I went a wee bit off topic there. When was the first tune you recorded, and how did you go about it?
That was 2017. Oh no,
Aye.
sorry, actually I tell a
Are
lie.
they still
That's
on
2016.
Spotify?
Is
No,
it
it was
not, eh?
2016. That song we wrote off though. To be fair, that's why.
Is that still on Spotify?
No, no, no.
Thank God.
I thought you've still got a tune on Spotify that's from 2016, unless it was another one.
Was it 2016? Well, it was definitely we definitely did record in 2016, so
Right.
we'll say that for the first tune. So at the start when we kind of got together, we were more of a heavier band. Say that. We'd came from a band again that were, I guess, slightly heavy in the sense.
Bleach.
Aye, so
It was more grunge.
yeah, that kind of thing. So that was kind of where we were at the time. Nirvana, all that kind of stuff.
So actually, sorry, I should have asked is how the hell did you get the sound that you were looking for before going into all that? Like, how do you come to an agreement with a sound that you want? Or like you said, do you put out a heavier tune and then just sort of judge it by there and think, right, we'll go this sort of style rather than that?
Yeah. Well, I suppose it was just we were just kind of doing what we were sort of writing at the time, and at the time, that's just what we were kind of coming out with. That was what we were listening to, and we were kind of jamming a lot of stuff, sort of not instrumentally, but we just didn't have any lyrics at the time, whatever. So a lot of it was quite guitar-y, quite heavy sort of stuff, and that was just, I guess that's what we maybe thought we were gonna go with, and then as sort of the months went on, the new songs came out, they started, or just whatever I was listening to, I don't really know, it just sort of evolved into more kind of indie stuff, which is kind of what I always was at the beginning anyway. That was kind of the foundation of everything I've sort of
Well, I could tell by
grown
the
up on, and sort of
folk you listen to and that as well. You just take inspiration from them.
exactly. So the first kind of tune was more heavy, and then I think once we kind of had a couple more that weren't anything like that, we were just sort of like, well, let's just forget about that and we'll just go from here. So the first one, the earliest one I think we've got on Spotify now, is a song called 21 and The Reason. They were the first two we did. We recorded them at Soundshape Production. Sorry,
Easy for you to say.
I know.
Are they still there?
And yeah,
Right,
still there. That's who he does everything. Videos. He's done all our videos.
Right.
Records music. He's recorded probably 5-6 of our tunes. Probably, yeah,
Right.
probably more actually. To be honest, a couple of EPs, and
Right.
singles and stuff. And he took our latest sort of photo shoot. So he does everything. And a lot of the bands, I don't know if maybe they have recorded
Right.
with him. But anyone for Greenock is been,
They'll know them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they've been
Aye.
recorded. It's kind of where you would go naturally anyway.
Aye, rehearsal studio as well.
Exactly, aye.
Right.
So yeah, the first two, and then we just kind of kicked on from there. And every single or EP that we've done has kind of evolved a wee bit more into kind of what we are now.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I mean. We started slightly heavier, and now we're kind of more.
You found your own sort of style and your own.
Yeah,
own
I'd say
sound,
so.
I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I've always wondered how that happens with bands, like, because there is like, even for like a band I really like, just take their first like album for example, and then I'll try and find demos from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God, that's like pretty, not heavy, but it'll be different. It'll be a lot
Yeah.
different.
Aye.
I think it just takes maybe the one or two recordings, and you can listen to yourself back, and then you can
Yep.
sort of decide, right, I need to go maybe in this direction and sort of find your own sound. But I mean, sometimes it takes bands a few albums
Yeah.
until they find their own distinct sound that when you listen to it, you can be like, oh, that's so and so straight
Uh-huh.
away. You know who that is, eh?
No, I
Yes,
mean,
it's-
a lot of the songs that we've put out have sounded totally different
Mhm.
Yeah.
before we'd gone into record.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be things in the studio that we will add in or change or whatever that
Yeah.
will completely change the way that the song sounds from
Yeah.
how we'd
But that-
even had it before we
Uh-huh.
went in.
That's what I was listening to. Obviously, I watched the Slicks podcast, and they were saying they went to Jamie Holmes and Johnny Madden at Castle Doom Studios, and they were like, it was the first time they went in a studio, and they were like, right, play the song. Right, we actually think you should do this. You should
Yeah.
change this.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were exactly the same. So we went to them as well. After a couple of years, and we were in the rehearsal.
It was Seven West when
Aye, back
we first went
Yeah,
at George Square.
that's right. And it was like, go in and play us a song. We played it, and it was like, writing notes down or whatever, and it's like, right, why don't you do this and do that? And that was the first time
Yeah.
anyone had said that to us, and we were like, all right, okay, cool. And then we record it, and we're like, that's actually
Does
that's
sound
actually,
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's-
then the next time we went and done it, we had that in mind. So we were starting to think more, if you were to listen to that, or if they are going to listen to this, what are they going to change about it?
yeah.
And then we change. So it kind of helps you as well. That was the first time we'd experienced it. And
No,
you-
definitely, and it's on their behalf as well. It's probably the right thing
Yeah.
to do, because we just had a guy in here, and he was saying, more hip hop artist, but he was saying that there has been occasions of like folk in recording studios where it's literally a case of them coming in, recording their bit,
Mhm.
and then they just sort of bugger off. They don't offer like
Right.
any input or
Aye.
any like suggestion of, hey, if you change it this way, it'll sound better and
Yeah.
whatnot. None of that, which I think is a bit of a scam.
Yeah.
You know, if you're charging
Yeah,
someone,
just-
like you're wanting if you're paying someone money, you want the expertise that comes with it, not
Yeah.
just a microphone for you to record into. You want their
Yeah.
expertise and their input and their years of knowledge. Because I mean, some of these guys could probably write masterpieces if they
Yeah.
wanted to. If they were able to. And they've obviously got the ear for it if they're able to give pointers on other people that come in and critique their sound and that, and give them a bit of advice, because 9 times out of 10 it'll always take maybe someone else who's not in the band to hear it and be like, see, if
Yeah.
you done that a bit differently,
Aye,
you're
I
on
think
to
having
something there.
Definitely.
Like
That's
fresh
what
set of
happens.
ears on it,
Yeah,
just from a different direction,
yeah.
to have a bit of input
I
on
think
it,
if
I think
you're-
definitely helps.
Practicing it and that, you're just going to be pretty stuck on that for what it is,
Yeah.
and it'll just take
Yeah.
like you say, a fresh set of ears
can
to
be
be
like
like,
really
if you done that a wee
tunnel
bit
vision.
And do you know
differently.
what? It's actually the simplest of things, and it's like
Yep.
totally changes it.
Yep.
I remember we done a song, State of Mind, and that song was kind of wrote through COVID. So
Is
you
that
could
the one with the Bucky?
yes,
Is that
that's
that
the
one?
one.
Aye.
So we couldn't get in a studio to record, obviously, because you couldn't whatever you
Leave your house.
you couldn't leave the house. So that song was the most I think I'd ever sort of critiqued a song to like have absolutely the way I want it, perfect, the way we rehearsed it when we could rehearse it.
Yep.
And then we went in the studio and it was like, I think you should change, like, I think it was a lyric, the last, just to stop repeating it like 4 times, change it slightly.
Aye, and I think it was like slightly different snare
Aye,
pattern
exactly.
Right.
And
that I was
exactly,
playing,
exactly.
and I
And
think
it
we
was
had
the
it in
simplest
claps and
things,
stuff.
yeah, the simplest of things that just totally changed it.
Aye, we thought this is it, can't get any better than
Yeah.
this, and then just having someone else's input on that, I think
Yeah.
really helps.
Yeah. So that's
Oh,
what I mean.
good.
That then helps you for the next one you do. You go, maybe I'll change this, or what would they think needs maybe
Can you
changing?
overcomplicate things by doing that?
You probably
though?
can, but see, because it's wee simple tweaks, as I said, that's probably all we'd kind of look for ourselves now.
Right.
Because we went in to do Why Don't You Come Over, there wasn't really much that was kind of changed.
No.
But again, that's because I went in and I was going, if there's anything that they're going to change here, I'm going to try and change it before, just to see if, and I said that helps you kind of evolving anyway as a writer
yeah.
as well. So, but always I think all that like you said, the fresh set of ears helps 100%.
How does it, like the progress of writing a tune starts? Do you come up with lyrics, or does another member of the band be like, here, I've got these chords, or how does that all work?
So me and Ross will mainly sort of FaceTime each other or send each other a recording or a video or whatever of like an idea, and then try and get together once a week if we can, or once every 2 weeks, whatever, outside of the rehearsal, and we'll just try and come up with a couple of things. But the kind of relationship me and him have got in terms of writing, because it's been years now, it's sort of like there's always going to be something that, even if it is a quick half an hour, there'll be something that we will come away
Something
with
productive
that we can, that we can we can sort of work at.
Yep.
Might come to nothing, it might come to something. As I said, when we went to his house and done Why Don't You Come Over, it just came. So it will always be the music first, and then it'll just sort of be a melody,
Right.
and then the last to kind of get thought of is the lyrics.
Right.
But we'll usually sort of try and work on them together.
What then? What happens with the drums and the bassist then?
So when we write, we'll record a demo of it, but it'll be pretty much strictly acoustic because I don't have an electric kit in the house or whatever to do it on. So I'll send him the demo of it and the guitarist Connell the demo whatever, and go, here's a song, sort of play it, come up with what you think maybe, or if there's ideas in our head that we go, you should do this in terms of maybe drums or whatever, we'll just kind of speak of it, but we'll do a demo so that they can hear it.
So what are you like when you get the demo? See, this is how, like...
He doesn't listen to it.
Do you not? See, this is the thing with, like, see drummers and bassists, man. Like,
he's not got a clue. When we go to rehearsals.
As much as, like, guitars and vocals are great, my favourite folk in bands are always the drummer and the bassist. Like, they just... Because, like you say, you're doing all these demos and that, and, you know, acoustic shit and that. He's not interested in acoustic versions. He wants to hear the fucking real deal. Like, you can't really play to an acoustic version, can you?
No, it's definitely better when we're in the rehearsal studio and I can hear more what it's going to sound like.
But see, as soon as you hear it, do you know exactly what it is that you're going to play? Like the moment you hear it.
We'll usually just sort of jam it and it will change a good few times what I'm playing before we then sort of nail what it is that I'm going to play.
Because that's one thing that,
it just evolves constantly, really.
See, is listening, like, to music for, like, maybe so if you give me a song for the first time, right, I'm more likely to be able to tell you the patterns that the drummer's going to do. Like, you know, when you're going to get a cymbal in at the end of the bar and that, but I can never tell you what the guitar, where that's going to go.
Yeah, there's definitely, like, places in a song where it's obvious that you're going to do a fill, going to add cymbals in here and there.
That's more what we work on, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of times tying that in with, like, the bass line and stuff, just to make it go. But
I think the bassist is probably the last person to hear any of the shit yous have done.
Well, he's actually Ross is the guy that I write with. He's a bass
player
as well.
Okay,
so
right.
He
but that's pretty bizarre then.
So he is a guitar player, or was a guitar player.
But he really wanted to be in the band. Yeah. And we were like, well,
no, I wouldn't say really wanted to be in the band. Pretty much he was in my class in school, grew up, and actually, funnily enough, with the bands that we were in, he was never in any of them. Right. I just knew he played guitar, liked the same music as me and whatnot, but we just never, so long, we never sort of got together and jammed. We would always just do our kind of individual stuff or be in the band. He would come watch us and just love it. And when we started the band, I was like, we need a bass player. I says, can you come down? I know you don't play bass, but you will be able to play bass. If I've got a bass here, just come down and jam with us. And it was sort of like, yeah, I'll come down, but I don't really fancy it, sort of thing. And then after a couple of rehearsals, it was sort of like, you're the bass player.
Right.
You don't have a choice at that point.
But he's, as I said, he's predominantly at the start. He's a guitarist, and he's evolved into kind of becoming more of a singer as well. He's got a really good voice, and he's got an unbelievable ear for, like, harmonies and stuff. Right. So a lot of our stuff is kind of based around that now.
So even though he's technically the bassist in the band, when you are coming together, like you were doing, like saying about the FaceTime and that, does he play guitar during these sessions?
He won't touch a bass unless he's rehearsing with us or playing a gig with us.
So then
he will always have a guitar on him.
So then he's got to then teach that to the guitarist?
Not necessarily. We kind of leave the more lead stuff to Connell,
right,
who is amazing, and he's kind of got his own sort of guitar sound anyway now. Sort of, if he was to play something, we could go, that's Connell playing.
Oh, I suppose the good thing is,
so he adds that.
If your pal Connell was to leave for whatever reason, at least you've got a replacement set up straight away, and it's fucking easy to find a bass player.
Bass on one hand, guitar on the other.
So if you're listening, Connell,
I'm sure no one's going to be leaving you anytime soon.
Yeah.
So what was obviously you're recording tunes and that, releasing them and that. What's it then like to actually like go and perform it live? Because you've done quite a few gigs, haven't you?
Yeah.
Aye.
Obviously, recently not so much. We just did our first gig 2 weeks ago in McCool's.
All right.
That was the first gig back. That was supporting Pentire,
right,
who are like an upcoming indie band from England.
How
Not
was
too sure
that?
where actually. Yeah, it was good.
Really good gig.
It was a last minute sort of. It we maybe get like a week and a half notice of it. It just came out the blue. We
Oh,
were
shit.
planning on this sort of comeback, if you like, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then DF got in contact.
So how did they know to get in contact with you? Was it just
'cause
because of the song that you released?
No, so I'd been in contact with them
Right. Okay.
about something, and then word must have passed on our name. They were
Mhm.
looking for a support act for this, but
Right.
this gig. So I got the email, and it was sort of like, well, this is ahead of what we maybe planned in our heads to
Mhm.
sort of come back. But we were just like, why not? Let's
I
just
suppose it's quite a good way to ease you
Yeah,
back in. I take it you were
exactly.
expecting your first gig to be like a headline, maybe one-off show
well, maybe
in
not
Glasgow or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. So that is, I guess, the plan. We will be doing a headline show, but in terms of the first one back, we weren't really sure. We were just rehearsing the new songs,
Mm-hmm.
and then this just kind of came out
Right.
of the blue, and we are just like, as I said, it was a week and a half away. We just said we'll go for it, we'll do it.
Yep.
And yeah, we were absolutely buzzing just to
Mm-hmm.
kind of once it was agreed, because it took a couple of days, and then again after that it was like we've only got a couple of days to sell tickets now, but there was no sort of pressure as such. We knew obviously it was quite last minute,
Yep.
but we were buzzing to play. We'd never played there before.
First time playing as a 5-piece as well.
First time
Yeah.
playing with the new member Sean. So yeah, no, that we were buzzing to be back.
So what was it like back in the day when you were playing then, when you first kicked off? 'Cause I guess that must have been
Yeah.
pretty exciting playing live.
Yeah, it was. See, to be honest, for a while it was pretty much. It was like twice a week, wasn't it? It was constant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
I
constant.
think we were playing like too many gigs.
Yeah,
It was, we just said yes to pretty much everything
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that we could get our hands on.
yeah.
Which I think led to us burning out a bit and
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
that
We
big
done
after
a lot of-
COVID.
We done a lot of like college shows as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was like, oh Josh, does your band want to play? I'm like, yeah, we'll play. So that was during the week, and then we'd have
Just
a
saying
gig.
yes to fucking everything that was
Everything.
coming your
Aye,
way.
because Ross, Josh, and Connell were all in the same music class at
Yeah,
Jimmy Watt College,
in
wasn't it?
college. Yeah. So there was a lot of kind of gig opportunities, and we just
Mhm.
snatched them up. Really, didn't have anything else to do. So we done that.
Were you
Then-
making any dough from any of these gigs?
Nah, we done a couple of gigs, I think, that were more for that. I think we done a couple of things for like in our area. It was like the council needed like a band to play. We done a couple of things, but it
Right.
was nothing. See when you split it between 4 and now 5,
Yeah, you're not
there's
getting
nothing in
much.
it. But we're not doing it for that.
Pretty
Yes.
much any money we would make though would just go
We did
back
keep
into
it-
the
We
band.
did keep it
Yeah.
for
It'd
the band
be
to the
there
record.
basically for recordings.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of the gigs were, oh well, it's great exposure and all that rather than actually getting money for it.
Yeah.
Exposure doesn't pay the fucking bills,
Aye,
though, does it?
that doesn't
You know?
buy
Yeah.
my rehearsal time and
Yeah.
recording time. So, I think we've definitely learned that we can say no to gigs, and it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's some things like, especially council shit, cutting ribbons to fucking events and that. You didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
You didn't even fucking
Yeah.
need to be doing
Aye,
that.
not
exactly.
remember that kind of
It
thing.
helped, to be fair, as I said, we did get maybe a couple of not rehearsals. Sorry, we got a couple of recordings
Mhm.
out of doing a couple of things, but it wasn't. I said,
What was that? Was a
unpaid.
lot of these like favours for favours types things? So if you do something, you'll get maybe.
Do you know what? I can't even remember, but there was a few where it was like, well, we'll just do that because we'll get 250 quid,
Right.
and then you split that. But as I said, we didn't even split it. We just put it straight into the band.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more so now, as I said, we're 24, 25 and 26 now, so it's just like, let's just get together and write the
How do
music,
you find
enjoy
the
it.
time to do all that now then?
It's tough.
Yeah,
Well,
I bet
A
it
wee
is.
girl and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So no, we manage it. It's if we can try and rehearse. If I've got a gig, we'll be rehearsing weekly.
Mhm.
But whenever we're maybe not doing stuff, as I said, Ross he'll be coming to my house, or I'll be going to his house, and we'll be writing.
Right.
I work from home as well, so I'm always about. So I'll always have a
You
guitar.
could have the whole fucking band in your living room while
Yeah.
you're working if you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. So I've always got a guitar right there beside
Mhm.
me. So that's just how we've managed it for the last couple of
Good.
years.
So, how is the newest member of the band fitted in with the keyboard?
So
That's a whole different
yeah,
element you can add to a
100%.
band.
Something that I personally have always wanted in the band, and Sean was in school. I was in his primary school class the whole way through. So again, he came through the high school as well, and I never even knew he played keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Never knew he played keyboard, but he'd always message me about like he would be looking for a band and stuff. But he plays everything. He plays like trumpet,
Yep.
violin. Pretty sure he sings
Mm-hmm.
and does all this. He's at the conservatoire.
Right.
So he's like a multi-talented guy, and I just never knew he played keyboards. And we put up a post looking for a keyboard player a couple of years ago, and he messaged me. And with a baby at the time, we weren't rehearsing, so I says it just eventually got pushed back. And when he came, because a lot of our stuff is got recordings of piano on it. I'll record the piano, but I'm not a piano player. I'm not great at it, but I can get away with it if I'm recording it.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Stopping, doing wee bits, and then
That's
going again.
the beauty of editing, though, isn't it?
So I can do that. I can get away with it if I'm recording, and if I'm doing the demos as well, I'll put piano on it. And I just think it adds a lot. And then whenever he came to the kind of rehearsals, he came over to my house and started playing them on piano. It was just like
Straight away.
yeah,
Aye,
just
good.
he just fitted in like that.
Good. I like playing a bit of keyboard myself. Although I hate saying keyboard because I always think keyboard sounds geeky as fuck. I like plugging it into FL Studio
Yeah,
and using all the VSTs from that to create all crazy
Yeah.
sounds and that. So I'm not necessarily playing a keyboard or a piano. I'm just making a fucking racket.
Yeah.
is what I'm doing.
yeah. Well,
Is
that's
the
the
best
thing
way
that
to say
that's
it.
the thing that he had as well. We only had a short notice for that gig, obviously, but over the next couple of months, leading up to hopefully some gigs over summer and whatnot, he'll be able to add much more than
I was
just
gonna say
playing
that
keyboard.
the beauty of a keyboard is it's not like I say, when people hear keyboard, like to folk that maybe not listen to music, they just think, oh, it sounds like a piano, but you can add strings,
Yeah, exactly.
orchestra sounds,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all
Exactly.
sorts.
We
when it
definitely
comes
Again,
wanna
to
bring in a lot
that's
more
stuff that
keyboards.
we always have recorded on our songs anyway.
Yeah.
So if he can bring that, then magic.
Ah.
It'll be
That's what it's fucking all about, man.
exactly.
Yeah, making new sounds and that. Have you got much stuff in the pipeline for the future?
Yeah, so as I said, we've got a couple of songs there waiting to be recorded. The kind of main single we're going to be doing the next couple of weeks. Me and Ross have got a few songs that...
So is that new one you put out? Is that not the main one you're leading with?
Well, aye, for now, I suppose.
Right.
But this one, as I said...
Well, I suppose the one that you've just done,
It's been-
been released,
Yeah,
was done.
it was done
It's
a
an
while
old
ago,
song
so
to
now
you, but
we've
it's new to
kinda-
me.
Aye.
Yeah, we've kind of moved on to like, right, what's the next one to come out with? So the next one we're going to record, as I said, in April. And then after that, though, we'll try and record a few more because we want to, as I said, we've not really released much in, I think it was 3 years
Mm-hmm.
since the last one, which was State of Mind. Which when I kind of think back on it, I'm like, what have we actually been doing? So 3 years.
It's quite a shame, when you think about it. Like, thankfully, it wasn't anything serious. Like, you hear of bands like breaking up and shit
Yeah.
like that, but like, yous are all pals. Yous are all
Yeah.
brought up together, so it's good
Aye.
that it wasn't anything
Yeah, no, it was nothing
serious
like that. No.
It's just like
Exactly.
I've got mates that for like a brief period of time, or small period of time even, that like just wasn't in contact with them.
Right.
Like, if anyone asked me, I'd be like, oh, they're my best mate.
Mhm.
And then it's just life sort of gets in the way.
Yeah.
Things get in the way. But then when you meet up with them again, it's like
You've never been away.
you've never been away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's no
Yeah.
question of why haven't you been in touch or anything like that. It's just a mutual. I don't know if it's a guy thing, but there's just a mutual
Yeah.
understanding.
Probably,
Like, we'd never take it personally.
No.
It's just a mutual understanding of you've got shit going on, I've got shit going on, and we'll meet up when we can meet up.
Yeah.
And that's it.
We
There's no
actually-
questions asked.
We actually never really even had that. We've all sort of, as I said, we've still been doing stuff. We've still had
Mhm.
the kind of the odd rehearsal, still been going out together and whatnot. So it was none of that. I just think it just maybe got put back in the
Yeah.
priorities for a while. But as I said, we're trying to.
It's mental because you might have actually been getting yourself better without even realising.
Yeah, we probably. Probably.
You know,
Yeah.
so people will hear that in the gap of the music
Yeah.
that from the last recording you done or released to the new stuff you've got
Yeah.
coming out. I'm sure that they'll hear a difference in
Yeah.
that. If you have been meeting up and
Yeah.
practicing and whatnot, they'll notice the difference in it.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's not necessarily a break. It was just getting our shit together and
That's it. It's
refining our sound and
Exactly.
fucking
it's
getting
just
better.
the way it's just the way things happened. It's just the path that we ended up on. And we're fine with that. We're just enjoying being kind of back together again, doing a couple of shows, hopefully recording, just being in the studio, which is probably my favourite part of it, to be honest.
Is the recording?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
What about yourself? Would you like the recording? Oh.
Yeah, I love recording. I think the whole making a whole day of it
Yeah.
is great. I think playing live definitely tops it for me.
Yep.
Just being in front of an audience
I
and
can
playing a
imagine.
full set on stage and stuff is just great.
Yeah.
I love it.
What's it like when you finish doing a gig? What's it like backstage after that? After you've done like a fucking mega set, like what's that like?
Well, 2 weeks ago, because that was the first one we'd done, we'd kind of been out, or we'd got up early in Glasgow, whatever, got to the venue, had a couple of beers and whatever, and just really excited for just playing again.
Yeah.
After it, I just remember seeing Ross, and he was just absolutely buzzing. Like just
He was off his tits on
just-
adrenaline, man.
just buzzing with
He
it.
was loving it.
So then he kind of bigs you up as well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like that was actually really good. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. But yeah, no, it's amazing. It is the best thing ever. Like just kind of playing again. As I said, we were buzzing for that gig. Just the whole week leading up to it, it was just getting everybody together again. Seeing all our pals and our family and our friends and whatever coming to see us again. 'Cause it's been a while.
Seen a lot of familiar faces from previous years as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Coming
Yeah.
back, maybe you might have not have seen them in fucking years. Like
Yeah.
not necessarily like close people to you, but certainly maybe fans of
Uh-huh.
the music
Yeah.
that you hadn't seen in years. So it must be a bit nostalgic actually.
Well,
for you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no, 100%. And that's probably something now that we're probably more so trying to build. It's probably trying to build on that kind of core sort of fan base, which has
Yeah.
obviously supported us the whole way through, from 20, even before we're in the band, all the way through.
Yeah.
And now it's just trying to let's try and reach out and get to a wider audience. So it's good when you finish and a couple of people come up to us, like, really enjoyed your set, like, what's your band name again? Sort of, I'll check you out, whatever. So it's just what you've got to do. That's what I mean. When we were doing all those gigs, we were just like, we just need to play. We need to play as much as we can, get out there, blah blah.
Probably weren't getting any fucking
No,
traction
no,
after
no.
that or anything, just playing for the sake
I
of it.
would be like, right. No, I saw you last
Them
week,
again.
guys. You were good,
I know.
but you're milking it a bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thing is, as well, you didn't want to piss off the people like where you're from as well, because that was one thing. Like my favorite band of all time is Depeche Mode, right?
all right,
All right,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
And they've spoke many times about saying how much like the UK hate them, and that's because they used to do everything.
All right.
And that's it. Like
Yeah.
people just get fed up
Yeah.
seeing you constantly.
Aye.
And it wasn't until they fucked off and then made an absolutely exceptional album that went fucking global that they kind of got accepted again. But that's it. You just need to know when to accept the real,
Yeah,
the good
for
stuff,
sure.
and then just patch the shite stuff,
Yeah.
because what you might end up doing is just pissing people off if they're constantly
Aye,
seeing
like
you all the
at that
time.
point we were sort of pissing off promoters as well.
Yeah.
Because we'd be like,
Oh, you can't.
oh,
play.
you guys haven't sold any tickets. And we'd be like, oh, yeah, we played the show last week. And I'm like, well, why the fuck did you accept that if
Yeah.
you knew you were playing this?
All right, there's an aspect of it
so
all I never thought of.
We were like, it was then at that point we were like, maybe we do need to sort of rein it in a bit.
Uh-huh.
I think definitely for us getting tighter when playing live, I think playing
Yeah.
all those gigs was great. It gave
Yep.
us so much experience.
Yeah, good experience.
But from the point of view of trying to sell tickets and build up a fan
'Cause the
base,
thing
I think
is,
it
like-
was a bit much.
For a promoter's point of view, they'd be pissed off if you've done a gig the week before and sold a shitload of tickets for that. There's folk
yeah.
looking forward to seeing you, and then obviously a week later, those folk aren't going to be interested in seeing you straight away again. They're going to, you're going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, that's what we discovered.
So
So,
did you actually have like promoters come up to you and say that to you?
yeah.
Nah,
Really?
probably a few. Yeah.
Really?
I do remember one guy on Instagram asking why you guys have this booked the week before. Are you still going to be able to sell tickets for this? And we were like, oh, yeah, it's fine. I think it's sort of like 5 tickets.
Fuck them. Well, surely they should have done their
Also, we were like, oh, well, surely you should have seen that we have a gig on the week before. But
yeah.
I guess it's a bit of, it goes both ways,
Yeah.
really.
We were just eager to play anywhere.
Yeah.
We just wanted to play.
Oh.
That was it.
Can tell that. I fucking tell that. But we've just got a shout for the fucking guy behind the booth there to sort of wrap it up soon. So obviously you've just got your new stuff coming out. Is it an actual album?
Nah, not an album. So we'll have a new single coming out.
Right.
So obviously we're recording that April. So over maybe the next 2-3 months after that.
What's it called? Have you got a name for it?
Yeah,
or is
it's
it
called
just
The Back Room.
The Back Room.
Yeah, The Back
Brilliant.
Room.
And will there be a music video with that?
So no plans yet, just in terms of money.
Mhm.
We need to try and figure out what we're going to do. But there will be some more content around that.
Right.
So that's the next kind of single we're going to come back with.
What about gigs future wise?
There will be some gigs.
I'll need to come and see you live now that you've.
Yeah,
coming
no,
here.
definitely come along. We'll stick you on the guest list.
Oh, thanks very much. I'll add that to another band.
Yeah, no, there will be some gigs, so just keep an eye out on
Right.
obviously our socials if we can keep up to date with it.
Nah,
we will
we'll
be
do. Just try and make sure it's a Saturday. I'm off every
Yeah,
Saturday,
right,
so
okay.
I can guarantee if a band says, "Oh, I'm playing on a Saturday," I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can guarantee I'll be there."
Yeah,
But just the way my shift's working,
Yeah.
it just fucking depends. I'm off every Saturday's guaranteed, but then there might be some weeks where I'll be off like a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
Right.
So
yeah.
if it's a Saturday, I'll definitely be there.
Yeah,
I'll keep
we'll
an
be in
eye on.
touch or
I'll,
keep an eye out, and
I'll
we'll
keep an eye on the Instagram
we'll
and
post
that.
so.
Just keep that up to date, and then I'll know when you're playing and that. And I would love to come along and see us.
Yeah,
It'd
no,
be
it'd be-
fucking be a good night.
No, of course, yeah, it'd
Be
be
a
great
good
to have
night.
you. We'll,
Aye.
as I said, we'll see if anything pops up, but there are some plans
Right.
for later on in the year.
Fantastic.
But if anything comes up over summer, then we'll definitely try and.
Give us a shout. I love gigs, eh? Like I'll go if we're going to a gig tonight. Actually, we literally.
Oh really?
Yeah, we literally just decided it. So, like I said, there, like with my shift patterns and that, it's pretty weird. So, whenever I'm long weekend,
Yeah.
which I am just now, there's a website called Songkick,
Okay.
which I'm sure you probably
Yeah.
know about it, and you can put in like the dates, like specific dates for gigs coming up in a city. So I've done that, and do you know Duran Duran?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
tribute act of them
Oh, right.
playing in Glasgow tonight.
Right.
But they're literally
right, okay.
playing at the bottom of this road on a fucking boat.
Oh,
It's called the ferry.
I know, yeah.
Ferry,
So it is an actual ferry
Yeah.
boat, right?
Yeah.
I seen pictures online. There was like fucking
Callum
dining tables and
McPherson's
everything.
AC/DC tribute
Are they
act.
playing it?
I'm sure that they've played that venue.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I've heard of a few people going there. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
there's an Eagles tribute act called Hotel Caledonia.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Nah.
them.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah.
that they played on
Yeah.
there as well.
I've
some point.
always heard of the ferry. Now I actually thought I'd been at every venue in Glasgow, and it turns out I hadn't because I've not been on a fucking boat
Yeah.
for a gig. But when I seen the ferry, because I've seen it come up a few times, I just thought must just be a bar because I've only ever seen tribute acts play at the ferry.
Yeah.
So I thought it must just be a fucking shithole boozer, eh? Like an
Yeah.
old school fucking shithole boozer. And then when I looked up online, I was like, no, it's on a fucking boat.
Aye.
And I didn't realise it was at the bottom of the street. So yeah, we're gonna go there.
There you
I think
go
that's only like 13 quid a ticket, and fucking who doesn't love fucking Duran Duran, eh?
No,
You know what
why not?
I mean?
Aye.
Why not?
80s icons. But we'll wrap up this episode. And I always end by saying, have you enjoyed being on?
Absolutely.
Thanks very
First
much.
podcast and
Yeah.
hopefully not last.
Yeah,
I
thanks for
enjoyed
having
this.
us. No.
No, that's it as well. And like, if you've enjoyed yourself, like it's an open door policy. You know what I mean? So if you've enjoyed yourself, you're more than welcome to come on anytime. If
Yeah,
you've got any
no,
like
magic,
material or like any singles or anything coming up, a gig you want to promote, can just come in and just chat shit. We've done the introduction now.
Yeah,
We know
Aye.
how yous got together and
Yeah.
how yous have, playing live and whatnot. So we've done all that shit. So the next time if you come in, just promote whatever the fuck you want, and we could just chat about tunes if you want.
sounds good.
Aye,
Um,
sounds good to us.
And if
Sounds good.
anyone wants to find you online and that, how would they find you?
Black Dove on all socials.
Right.
On Spotify, Apple Music, all of
Yep.
that. Let your single out, get it streamed.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it streamed. I'll
Yeah.
go home tonight and just put you on repeat and just have the phone turned down. So
Aye,
just
get that-
just
get that stream count
going.
up.
That's it. It's farming the
Yeah.
streams. But aye, definitely everyone who's watching this, check them out. On the social medias and that, give them a follow, and the news tune as well. Why don't you come over?
That's it.
I genuinely do like that song, so
Thank you.
give that a listen to as well. It's a fucking it's an absolute peachy tune. So if yous are happy, we'll finish and we'll wrap it up.
Aye,
Yeah,
good
no,
with
thanks
that.
for having
Right,
us.
that's
Thank
all right. I'll wrap this up. Right, thanks for watching another episode of Ear Candy. Much appreciated, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.